I know that you mentioned something about brain pain.
Yeah.
Can you talk me through what you're thinking about this week?
Well, it's there's a couple of days and dates that are sort of around this time of year. 7th of Jan was Invisible Pain Day. The 17th of Jan was International We're Not Broken Day. And it's really been a theme for me in 2025. Um, has been such a year for unpacking trauma
Yeah.
for me and experiencing how sometimes your brain does weird shit uh, in an effort to keep you safe. But I think, it's so important we have these conversations because we can't always see if someone, it's if someone is ill or someone has an injury that we can see, then we can have that compassion. And it's sometimes difficult to um to extend that same grace to people who are suffering in ways that are not visible.
Yeah.
And I also think it's hard when we are in those spaces when our brain is being particularly challenging. It can be really hard to receive that compassion as well because we feel like something's wrong with us and we are broken and we are a burden to people. And so and especially given that I wrote a book about
Mm.
trauma and the effects of emotional abuse. I really want to be I really want to talk about this a lot
Good.
because people need to understand, or people need to understand. No, people need to know they're not alone, and
Yeah.
they aren't broken. They're just their system is trying to keep them safe in the best way it can, and that's not always, the things we do to survive an extreme situation don't always work once we leave that situation, right? Like I in the book, I think I say, do we want someone who gets stranded on a on an island? Do we want them to learn how to make fire? And of course we do, because that will help them stay alive. But do we want them to continue setting fires once they return back to civilization? Probably not, right? Like it's this,
Yeah.
like we can understand why survival strategies take hold, but then, you know for us to help the people around us break through those patterns of behavior, it requires us to approach people with compassion and consistency and
Mm.
provide safe spaces to have those conversations.
Yeah. I
So that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've got a friend who is almost blind now.
Mm.
He's gone through a couple of brain tumors and got through the other side, which is quite a miracle. It's amazing how he walks down the street and he's a large guy. He's had a lot of medical treatments that have changed the way he is. And it's amazing how someone's ready to yell at him until they see his stick and go, "Oh, sorry, pal." It's that constant, I don't know, we're just antsy about other people. And I think when you can't explain or people can't see the physical issue, they don't always recognize that there is an issue. Like this whole thing of I prefer someone to tell me than to sort of go, oh, I won't worry you about it, because I often can't tell and I don't think to ask. So some people are very good at reading others and going, oh, there's something here, I'll be more mindful or maybe even ask them. But for me, I don't see it. And I prefer that people tell me. I don't need to know the details, but I just need to have a basic understanding that, maybe they can't walk up a flight of stairs because they can't move like I can, or, there's other issues where they need more time to do something, or, even in business, things like deadlines,
Mhm.
the amount of impatience we place on people when we've got deadlines is incredible. And often you're not respectful of, I know a lot of people that they can't do something on the same day because they're physically, their brain can't handle the pressure of doing something that quick, until they tell me and then remind me that oh, I'll need a couple more days, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, fine. But I think we're maybe people are too scared to say something sometimes because of how people then react, or
Well, it-
yeah.
from my perspective, and this is just my personal experience, like uh, we're often so afraid of judgment, right? And it's because we are judging ourselves over our own shortcomings. So we assume that other people are judging us as well. Whereas, like you say, mostly people don't even notice. Um, but I think what helps me a lot is this. I mean, I love my cat. She's not at all stealing the stage here. Um, I think what can help because you know the expectation asking people to communicate what they need is a big expectation, especially when someone's not doing well,
Mm,
and they would like to be doing better, right? Like I would love to meet the deadline, even if I can't, I still want to.
yeah.
And so for me to then have to say, oh, I can't meet this deadline is that's a big ask sometimes. So I always say like if we want people to show that vulnerability because we need them to communicate their needs,
Mm,
then we need to create an environment where communicating those needs becomes the logical choice, the easy choice,
true.
right? So to me, that then means, okay, so have you communicated your specific needs and wants in a collaboration?
Mm,
If you're expecting someone else to do that, then you also, because you will also have needs, the way your brain works, the way that you like to organize your things, like have you communicated that? Because if you are saying, hey, this is how I like to work, how can we make it work for both of us? Then you're inviting that conversation quite naturally without making it about the other person or putting the responsibility on them to
yeah.
communicate with you. And I think sometimes we forget, right? Like there's this idea that oh, it's just mental health stuff and you can just put that aside for a minute, but that's not how it works. Like it's
Mm.
my actual physical brain that's doing shit.
The personality is shining through.
And I don't oh, I can't like some days I can successfully sort of sidestep some of the stuff that's going on in my head and I can remind myself, well, this isn't true,
Mm,
right? This is not what's happening right now. But there are days when I can't do that. Like I can't do it. I just can't. And I
mm.
can't always tell ahead of time what kind of day it's going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
I think trust is important too, that you trust that if you do share with someone that they'll take that on board rather than dismiss it.
yeah, that's part of it is like if you want like asking people to say, hey, this is what I need is one step, but then you have to accommodate that
Yeah,
because otherwise they're not going to say it the next time, right?
exactly.
Because it has to feel safe. There has to be trust. And
Mm,
that requires consistency and it
yeah,
requires listening and not listening to respond, but listening to hear. And listen, we're all human beings. We don't have to be perfect, but especially when it comes to trauma, it takes a lot of repetition for it to seep through.
yeah.
Um,
But I think this is why we place importance. So in setting up shop, we placed importance on mindset
yeah,
because without the mindset of understanding and that awareness, no matter if you've got all the other pillars in place, you're still going to struggle. So I think knowing how you work, the way you need to work, who you want to work with, I think that's also important. Um, those sorts of things are incredibly useful early on. And I think business owners who grow very quickly get things. Their brain just naturally works stuff out and they move on. Whereas other people tend to take more time. Like I'm the sort of person that takes time to work stuff out. It might be a day, it might be a week. But I need that space of time to put it all together and then move on. And I think yeah, everyone sort of works to their own rhythm.
Not
And
distracting at all, is it? You keep glancing at the cat, like, yeah, just doing
we did
that.
say it's flat whites with friends.
You want a
Bella.
flat white, Bella?
We need to give her a little saucer of milk. A bit of froth.
Oh, she'll never leave.
Yeah. But I
But
think also, I mean, perfect example is animals. Animals, having them around you can help also with giving you another outlet for being yourself, of having comfort and support. Like I like that Bella's been on you this whole conversation, because I feel like she's in a very happy space, and she's adding value to our conversation.
yes, and a bit of support to
Mm.
her broken owner. No, I'm not broken.
It's
We are
real,
not
not
broken, but
broken.
that's the right, but that's the and that's the whole point about it is like we all have our shit. And I think if we can approach each other with less judgment and more curiosity, then we can make a huge difference in the well-being of the people around us.